I'm Jordan Belfort, and this is Sales School. All right, here's the deal. As America gets back to work, you want and need every possible advantage out there to succeed in the new economy. Smart companies run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud-based business system. So receive your free guide right now at netsuite.com/school. So the beauty of the straight line is what? That every sale is the same. The way we go about lining up those 5 core elements is the same every time. We use the same order. We go about it with the same tactics and strategies, right? So I say I think the end of that first module, I'm like, but there's one important element that needs to be in place here. You know, what is that? What has to happen to make every sale the same? And that is, you must be in control of the sale. In other words, the reason I looked at the strat nights that night and said, like, don't you guys get it? You know, every sale's the same. What I was saying is, like, it's so easy for me. Like, what are you guys even struggling about? Like, you know, because from my perspective, as a natural born closer, what I was doing intuitively, without thinking about it, was I would say things to people in a certain way that in those first few seconds, they were like, whoa, this guy, he's really sharp. Wow, he doesn't sound like the average bear, so to speak. You know, he's an expert in his field. So when you perceive that about someone, what do? You defer. You allow them to do their job. See, an expert's job is to what? To solve problems in a very narrow sort of, you know, in a narrow subject, right? You're an expert at something. You're not an expert at all things. So if I'm going to be selling someone, you know, Porsches or, you know, Mercedes, you know, I'm going to be an expert at that. I'm an expert at car sales, and I'm also an expert at my particular brand, my product within this sphere. I'm an expert at both. And because of that, I know everything there is to know about that particular product, that industry, and I can help guide you into making the right decision for you. I'm an expert in my field. Now, what happens is that when someone perceives you as being an expert, they will naturally defer, meaning they will listen, they will answer your questions, they will allow you to guide them through a discovery phase where you ask questions, they answer them, and based on those answers that you give them, they will then tailor a solution that perfectly meets your needs and alleviates your pain, solves your problems. That's what experts do, right? When we're in the presence of someone we believe is a novice, someone who's not an expert in the field, a newbie person that doesn't know much about what they're trying to sell you, what do? Well, we're not going to defer to that person. We will intuitively try to take control, and we'll start basically fucking with the person. That's why when a novice salesperson gets on the phone with a prospect, they'll find it very difficult to even get into intelligence gathering questions. They ask the prospect a question, and the prospect will answer their question with another question. Like, you know, so how long you been living there? How long you been living there for? They don't cooperate. And because of that, the sale starts to spiral out of control. In straight line parlance, I call that going off to Pluto or down here to your anus. Neither are good places to be, right? So that night that I looked at the strat and said, guys, don't you get it? Every sale is the same. This is what I was referring to. And then I said to them shortly thereafter, the next major leap of logic I had was I said, you have 4 seconds to accomplish 3 crucial things in the mind of the prospect. And if you don't capture those 3 things in the first 4 seconds, you're done. You can't close anybody. And you're like, 4 seconds? You know, what about, my mommy told me not to judge books by their covers, and so did my teachers, right? Well, guess what? Your parents told you that. Your teachers told you that. I'm sure many other people told you that. They all do, you do, and so do I. We all judge books by their covers. The way the human mind works, we're fear-based creatures. It's wired directly into our reptilian brain. We see people, we immediately rip them apart, we judge each piece, we then put them back together based on how they're perceived. If we're perceived the right way, meaning you are perceived the right way, okay, people will defer to you and allow you to take control of the sale. Naturally, they'll allow you to guide them. If you're perceived the wrong way, the prospect takes control and things start to spiral out of control. So you got 4 seconds on the telephone. And believe it or not, you only have a quarter of a second when you're in person, face to face. And I'll explain that later. Let me tell you exactly what these 3 things are. You got 4 seconds to be perceived as number 1. Okay? Sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack, meaning you're sharp, you're on the ball, you're a born problem solver. You're not going to waste their time or yours. You're a sharp person, right? Number 2, you're enthusiastic as hell, meaning that what you have, it must be good. Now, just to be clear here, I'm not talking about that over the top, like, oh my God, Bill, my practice is so great, you can't believe it. Like, people, what the hell to run away from you, right? I'm talking about something very different. It's called bottled enthusiasm. Bottled enthusiasm sits below the surface, like something like a seething volcano, like how I'm talking right now. I'm not yelling, but you say, wow, this guy really, wow, he seems serious about this. He's really excited. Something beneath the surface. It can be unleashed at any moment. Because I'm an expert, I don't unleash it, but I could. And because someone knows that, they will say, whoa, I'm going to listen to this person because they seem to be on the edge of almost exploding with enthusiasm, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And people will listen to you more closely and they will defer. And the third element here, and most important of all, I'm an expert in my field. Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, an expert in your field. So here's the deal. I said it before. I'll repeat it again. We have been conditioned since we're yay big to defer to experts. It started when we were 3 or 4 years old. Your probably earliest memories, your parents took you to a doctor when you were sick or for a regular checkup, and you noticed that even your own parents would defer to the doctor. They'd give him utmost respect. When the doctor would ask you questions, you would answer right away. If they asked your parents questions, your parents would answer. They weren't like the doctor say, so tell me, how long have you felt this way? The parents say, why? What's it your business? Why do you see? The doctor has earned the right to ask you questions. He has diplomas on the wall. He has a stethoscope. He has a white coat. The very way he's dressed, the way he carries himself, the way she asks you questions. So tell me, and they have a whole sheet there. They go through this actual guided intelligence gathering session. If there's some way I want you to be perceived by your clients, it's almost like the trusted family physician, the advisor, not the interrogator that's like, so how long have you been doing that? Where do you live at? If you're like the interrogator, people will clam up and you'll break rapport and the sale will start to spiral out of control. You got 4 seconds at most. 3 things. Number 1, sharp. 2, enthusiastic. 3, expert in your field. And what those 3 things chunk up to, what they equal in the mind of the prospect is you are a person worth listening to. It's worth for them to take the time out of their busy day to actually listen to you because you might have the answers to their problems. And then even at a higher level still, more importantly, because you can help them achieve their goals. You can help them get what they want in life. That's what experts do. They help us solve problems. They help us eliminate pain. They help us get the things that we need and want. When you are perceived this way, sharp, enthusiastic, an expert in your field, people naturally say, okay, fair enough. I'm going to defer to this person. I'll allow them to ask me questions and allow them to guide the flow of the encounter. So once you take control of the conversation, what it does, it opens up a universe of possibility. Why? Because now you can say, okay, I know that these 5 things that have to line up. I'm going to line up this one first, this one second, this one third, this one fourth, this one fifth, and I'm going to do it the same way every time. Yeah, some words might change here and there, but generally the flow of the encounter is going to be in the same way every single time, and you're going to learn with the straight line how, when the prospect starts to spiral off, right? Remember, we have those boundaries. So remember, I'll just put it right here in the bottom, small. Here's your straight line. You have boundaries above and below, right? Open, close. So if your prospect tries to spiral off with the straight line system, you're going to learn how to listen and say, aha, yep, agree with them. Yep, oh, I see, right? And then you're going to learn how to bring them right back and move down the straight line forward towards the close. Different lesson, but all of this becomes possible because you took immediate control of the sale.